Morning, everybody. Got Gary from Clean Harvest Nutrients and the Good Fat Company. A happy Sunday. Happy to be with you today. How is everyone? Give people a few minutes. It's warming up. I'll give you guys a quick look. We still have lots of snow, but it's warming up. It's been in the 40s the last couple days. So we'll see if we get any special guests today. We had deer here this morning. So, hi. Happy to see everyone. So today we're going to talk about an interesting subject today. To have joy, and these are the thoughts of the day today. To really experience deep joy and meaningful happiness, it requires us to not turn away from tragedy. And we all have tragedies in our life, and it's something that we either deal with. We deal with it one way or another. Could be, shutting down and just grinding through life, or it could be opening up and dealing with the tragedies or the difficulties. But today it's more around, the conversation is more around working with tragedies in our life. Not so much as, like I worked on a project and Friday found out it didn't come to fruition. It was something I was hoping to happen. I was sad, I was disappointed, but it wasn't a tragedy. Tragedies are like deaths. And we have a big family. Like most of my aunts and uncles had 7 kids. So we had great parties as kids. But, our family I felt like we were pretty special and exempt from a lot of the tragedies that people had around family members dying or, children dying. So many other people were dealing with tragedies like that. And the past 3 or 4 years, we've had a lot of death-type tragedy in our life. And some of it, people got sick and old and died. And it's a tragedy of loss, but, other tragedies, young people dying, or children passing, or tragedies of moms carrying their children and then them dying before birth. We've had 2 of those in the last couple of years, and one just really recently this week. And so it just had me thinking about tragedy. And we look at, and a big part of our focus is not creating more harm, not causing warfare, not how do we live our lives without causing more warfare. So one of the things I thought about, and this last tragedy that happened this past week hit really close to home, and it actually felt very cruel. I felt like there was a lot of cruelty that anybody would have to go through the loss that this person went through. And so how do we work with that without blaming others? And one of the things is, finding a safe place for yourself, that you have privacy to journal, do whatever helps you to be present to the what's really going on. Otherwise, what happens is, just look at our culture today, the amount of numbness and people shut down and insensitivity. And even though we're waking up in a huge way, you see that, my grandfather was in World War II, and he was a hero. He was a war hero. And something that I take pride in as part of my lineage, that he put his life on the line to help others. But the sad thing is he came back and he was an alcoholic, and he was harmful and abusive, and very abusive to my mother and to his children. And so that's tragedy that undealt with just continues on. And the reason this is so important is helping others is to not harm others. And the reality is if we don't work with and open our hearts and our minds to these tragic events in our life when they happen, then we shut down, we disconnect, and we harm other people. It's impossible. It's impossible for to not harm others in that environment with shutting down. Sorry, I just got a text message and it distracted me for a second. And we do that by avoiding other people, by neglecting other people, by the pent up emotions or however we feel about the experience usually comes out to the people that we love the most, and we harm them, yelling at them, saying mean things, saying hurtful things, being insensitive to what they're going through, not being able to receive what's going on in their life and being with them in that way. So it's really critical. This is not just and sometimes the theme is chin up, be positive. Yeah, and that's not a bad way to live, but when it's on top of tragedy and just grind through, that only lasts for so long, and it's not real. And what we want to get to is being real in our life, and to live our life fully, and to share our life fully, and to receive other people's life fully, and to being shut down, to these painful experiences that we've had, ultimately only harms others, and it continues the legacy of pain and suffering in the world, which we don't want to do that. So I don't want to do that. That's part of the reason that I'm here. And that's one thing I really try to practice in my own life. Given what's happened this past week, it's really at the forefront, and I'm really present to the importance of it. Yeah. The other thing too with the importance of this is, if you ever notice that you blame yourself or say, what's wrong with me, that these things are happening, and that's what happens when we don't deal with what the situation is. We don't deal with the tragedy or the loss or the cruelty that we experience, and then we go and turn it on ourselves. And even with all the deaths we've had in the past 5 years, I'm starting to think, oh my God, when is this going to happen? And then everything with COVID, and then is this something about me personally versus this is something in life that's happened, something that, it's a real part of life to deal with. If you have these experiences, find a place, that's private. And it doesn't mean don't reach out for help, because do that, but to really have private, intimate time with yourself and seeing what's going on with you around, with the tragedy, how you're feeling, and expressing it, through writing or tears or all of the above. I mean, I find yoga, stretching, helps me to really get connected to my body. I'm just looking at my notes here real quick. This is the other thing that I wanted to say. Hey, Rini, good morning to you. So nice to see you. When Fergie got sick, my dog, and I was just really crushed. And I talked to my spiritual teacher, and I was just sobbing, literally sobbing. And And he reminded me of something. He said it's very rare in life to be so connected to something or somebody and to love so deeply, and that this is actually a gift, that it would impact you in this way. And I found that to be very meaningful. And one of the other things that I believe and noticed, oh, thank you, Rini. And Fergie hasn't passed, so just so you know, and there is sorrow, definitely sorrow in my voice with something that's happened close in our family, around loss and tragedy. This is the thing, is that can feel the sorrow and the grief and the loss, and the shock. But if we live with it in the moment, life continues to open up. And this is part of what I've learned over the past several years of a lot of people passing, is that when I deal with it, life continues to open up. My heart continues to open up. I continue to have wisdom and more connection, knowing what's right for me, what's not right for me. And I mean, the value of living life like this is so powerful. One, we don't harm others from our tragedies. That's actually number one important, because we deal with it directly. And harming others just keeps harm going in the world, which we don't want. So, I know this was really on my heart to talk about today, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Hopefully it brings value to you. And, I hope you don't have to deal with a lot of tragedy in your life. That would be amazing. But if you do, I invite you to deal with it directly. And you'll be a kinder, loving, more giving person. Thank you, Rini. Thank you. And this isn't special to us. I mean, if you look around, and people, especially with COVID and their families, are losing loved ones. Some people are losing both their parents. I mean, it's present today. Let's deal with it. Let's make a difference so that we can continue to awaken as a world globally, as a world of more kindness and caring and giving and sharing, versus stuffing and avoiding and neglecting ourselves and others and not dealing. Yes, Hayes, to feel grief is to know love. That is so spot on. Only a person who has felt grief could know that. This is beyond conceptual. This is, I think, a time in life in the world for us that we're starting to shift this to starting to deal with things, and we have more capacity to deal with things and to love, and to feel grief and to feel loss and to deal with tragedies as they happen. Blessings. So, with that said, I'm not sure what more else to say for today. I just so deeply appreciate being with you guys, your comments, your good mornings, and I tell you, I see you next Sunday. Many blessings to you. Take care. Bye-bye.